Hello, I'm Don and welcome to my kitchen. Well, we're coming up on the holidays and that's the time I really shine. I love to do my baking. And today's one of my favorites, soft and gooey and chewy oatmeal raisin cookies, which happen to be my favorite cookie and also my son's. You can see I got water boiling here and we're going to go ahead and get started. So as usual, I weigh everything and that's how the recipe is going to be written, and there will be a written recipe in the description below. So I got 300 grams of regular old raisins, and I'm going to go ahead and add it to my boiling water. I've cut the burner off at this point because we don't want to keep it boiling. We just want to soak them in the boiling water. So I've got a timer here. I'm going to go ahead and set it for 5 minutes. I'm going to take this off the hot burner, set it aside here. Just get them a stir to separate them all. And we're going to let that go ahead and go for 5 minutes. So next you've got 250 grams of all-purpose flour. To that we're going to add 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and a half a teaspoon of regular old table salt. And I'm going to just go take a whisk and get that all mixed through my, my flour. And we're going to go ahead and set that aside. So in my stand mixer I already have 2 sticks of softened butter, and we're going to take 200 grams of brown sugar, and I'm using light brown sugar, 100 grams of regular old granulated sugar. We're going to go ahead and put that in the mixer, and we want to cream those together for about a minute or two. And you're going to use your paddle attachment. I'm going to start it out at slow. And slowly graduate up a little bit. And ultimately we want to cream that sugar all together with the butter. So we let that go for about a minute. Alright, so it's been about a minute. I'm going to go ahead and cut the mixer off at this point. I'm going to drop it. I'm just going to go ahead and scrape down the sides of my bowl with the spatula here. And now what we're going to do is 1 egg at a time. And these are at room temperature as usual. Also going to add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And I'll go ahead and add in my second egg. I'm going to go ahead and add our flour mix, and I'm going to do it a little at a time. I don't like to do it all at once. Okay, our timer went off for the 5 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and strain these raisins. And I'm going to go ahead and just let them sit in the strainer and drain off. Now what the soaking does is it plumps up those raisins, makes them nice and soft. If you put them straight in the cookie, they'll be fine, but they'll definitely be a little more dense, a little more chewy. So I like them a little soft, and I do this with a lot of my recipes, like my nut roll you might have seen. So we're going to go ahead and continue with our flour into our mixture. All right, so now we have 300 grams, the same amount of raisins. We have old-fashioned rolled oats. I'm going to go ahead and add that to my stand mixer. Start that out slow. Now the dough's getting nice and dense, and that's what you want. You want that. But you're going to want to scrape your bowl down in your paddle because you want to get those oats mixed through thoroughly. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and add our raisins. Raisins are still very wet. You might want to even take a paper towel and just dab them a little bit to dry them out. And I'm going to put about half of them in. Keep scraping that bowl down. Okay. So I'm going to take it off the mixer at this point. I'm going to give it a good stir. Make sure my raisins are throughout the cookie dough. We're going to go ahead and cover this with some plastic wrap. And then we're going to stick it in the fridge and let it chill for about 30 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to preheat my oven for 350 degrees. And when we get back, we'll make our soft and gooey and chewy homemade oatmeal raisin cookies. All right, I'm back. My oven's preheated at 350 degrees and my cookie dough is chilled. And you might want to know why you chill your cookie dough, because there's a lot of fat in there. It's the butter. If you don't chill it, you're not going to hold shape very well. You get flat cookies often. So this allows them to expand gradually instead of rapidly. In any event, the recipe makes 3 dozen cookies. If you use a tablespoon and a half cookie scoop, that's the little one. I'm using the same recipe, and I'm going to use a 3 tablespoon kind of heaping, so more like 4 tablespoons to make the jumbo oatmeal raisin cookies. We want them to be about 4 inches round. We'll get about 12 cookies out of that instead of the 3 dozen you would get. Now that also changes your cook time, your bake time. So with the 3 dozen, if you use the smaller scoop and you make smaller cookies, you're going to bake them for 10 to 12 minutes. If you're going to use the larger, you're going to bake them for 15 to 17 minutes at 350 degrees. And you're going to watch them. They're going to start to get a little brown around the edges. You might want to even take a spatula and then lift one up and just take a look at it. You'll get a feel for it with your first batch, and you go on from there. So we are going to be making the jumbo cookies. So I'm going to use a very large scoop here. And like I said, we're going to go kind of a heaping scoop. And we're not going to be done with them at this point. Okay, so we are going to use our hands a little bit. You want to roll these into a ball. You can chill this for up to 24 hours as well, so if you want to make it a day ahead, that's fine. And we're going to see how many we can get on this cookie sheet. And this is a large cookie sheet. It's 21 inches by 14 inches, but I think we're only going to get 2 across. You don't want to get them too close together. Okay, so once we have them formed into a ball, we want to press them down, but we don't want to press them all the way flat. I'm not real confident getting the 3 across on these, so we've got 6, 7, 8 on this sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and pop these in the oven. I'll go ahead and do my next sheet. When they're all done, we'll take a look at them. All right, I'm back. My second batch just came out of the oven. That's these guys here, still extremely hot. I probably should have left them on the cookie sheet a little longer. I ended up with a total of 13 jumbo cookies, most likely because I wasn't consistent with my cookie scoop. If you wanted to get real technical, you could weigh your cookie dough and divide it up evenly into 12, and you'd have uniform cookies across the board. Once again, I said this before, I'll say it again, it all eats good. So let's take a look at the cookies. They're about 4 inches in diameter. These have been out first. This is my first batch. So nice texture, loaded with raisins, nice and brown on the bottom. When they come out of the oven, they're going to be golden brown around the edges, but just starting to get a little brown on top. Very soft. These are still very warm. You can see they just break apart. And I have to eat one, let's face it. There's one extra here. So that's it for my soft and chewy oatmeal raisin cookies. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I will leave a link to the written recipe as well as some of the items I used today in the description below. And if you like this kind of video, please like and subscribe. And please leave me comments. I really enjoy reading the comments, and I love to answer the comments as well. So that's it for today in Don's Kitchen. I'll see you again.